This is the first episode of the podcast titled First Voter, a pilot episode that is workshopped around first-generation voters, where I ask them questions regarding their experiences with the voting process. By interviewing students, I hope to shed light on and normalize these diverse experiences within this community, not only to provide a sense of comfort for my listeners, but for myself as well. Thank you. Hello, all you listeners, and welcome to my podcast titled First Vote. I am Lissette Quintanilla, the creator and host. For a class, we were asked to target a community on campus and create a voting project with that community in mind. I struggled a bit to find a community that I could influence, so with this I began to reflect on my own experiences with voting. Honestly, my knowledge about the process was a bit limited, and I realized that while growing up, the members of my household never really spoke to me about governmental processes like this. As a daughter of immigrants and as a first-generation student, it made sense that we mostly never spoke about it because they had never experienced it. Although my parents did emphasize its importance, there were still a lot of questions and anxieties that I had of my own. This also made me realize how lonely being the first to do something could be. So thinking about first-generation voters and their experiences with the process became my main interest. The other day, I attended a small, intimate crafts and study event hosted by FGCS at the Students' Activity Building at the First Gen Gateway. There, I was able to interview a few members. Here's what they had to say.
Hi everyone, my name is
Delina Campash,
Clara,
Diana Campash,
Annabelle Daly. I actually am a first generation voter. I voted for the first time in 2020. I was a freshman, that was last year. Yeah, right. The 2020 election. My first voting experience was kind of nerve-wracking. I went to UMA and it was a pretty long line. I mean, they had a lot of signs that helped me out, like to where to go, and some people were out there like with clipboards with like paperwork that I need to fill out. It's just nerve-wracking to do something for the first time, but as long as there's clear directions, like it's okay, and I felt like that's what really helped me.
I am not a first-gen voter, so both of my parents immigrated here, and they both got their citizenships when I was younger, so they got to vote in a few elections before I did. And my first voting experience, I would say, was super influenced by them. They were the ones who took me out to the polls, and they sort of helped me know what to expect from that.
I am a first generation voter, and my first voting experience was the 2020 presidential election. And overall, I think it was a very smooth process. My parents helped a lot with the process since they've done it a few times, and I also had some help from my older cousins who also told me, what I should expect. And as far as family influence, I feel like we all kind of share the same values and morals, so we were all kind of on the same page in regards to voting.
And yeah, I am a first generation voter. My first voting experience was really fun just because I got to experience how to vote, where to vote, why I'm voting. Basically, my family helped me with this process because when I first voted, it was my first time, it was my first time ever. And so I didn't really know the voting process. This was actually really fun just because I've never done it before. So yeah, it was really fun and interesting.
My dad refuses to vote. He's never voted. He is against voting. He says his vote doesn't matter anyway because it's rigged, basically. Okay, I don't know if I agree with that, but that's his view. So I've grown up with that attitude, but my mom has always she only votes in the major elections. Honestly, what helped me with the process is just easy. There was posters and stuff like that, so just anything with the easy and simple. And there was a few people with the clipboards that did answer a few questions for me, and that helped me out.
And then as far as what's helped me with the process as a whole, I've also done my own research on the internet, kind of looked up a summary of each of the candidates, what they represent. I also used to look up kind of big bills that were trying to get passed or things like that, just to kind of keep myself in the know. But yeah, that's pretty much my process every October to get ready for voting.
I voted differently than my parents. They're immigrants. They have totally different views than me. Personally, in my family, it's not a big thing to vote. It's just I wanted to vote, and that was like my own personal thing.
So that's my voting experience.